Shalom from Jerusalem. My name is Shai Amin and I am very happy to be here with you. Today, I'm at the office of the Jerusalem Institute of Justice with JIJ's Director of International Law and Public Diplomacy, Advocate Uri Moran.
Shalom Shai. I'm happy to be here with you today to discuss this important topic of Palestinian child soldiers.
Uri, Fatou Bensouda, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, has stated multiple times that children have no place in war and that the recruitment of children as weapons must stop. How does that align with the current situation in our world?
So Bensouda's statement is accurate. Nonetheless, in reality, more than 357 million children around the world live in conflict zones, and tens of thousands are used as child soldiers. They become fighters, suicide bombers, human shields, messengers and spies. And it breaks my heart to tell you that they are even exploited in the sex industry. They are the real victims under the thumb of a cruel regime. We call on the ruthless leaders to immediately cease the cynical exploitation of the most vulnerable in society.
How come we don't hear about these things on the news?
Shai, you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, this issue does not get the attention it deserves. This week, as we are observing Palestinian Child Soldiers Week, we take the opportunity to raise awareness and stand in solidarity with the Palestinian children.
So, what future awaits these innocent children?
Unfortunately, the future of these children looks dire. 230,000 Gazan children have already suffered brainwashing within the Palestinian education system. Every year, tens of thousands of children become the victims of unbridled indoctrination. They are educated on the values of hatred. They learn the values of jihad and martyrdom, and they are taught to hate Israel. They will be probably used for terrorist organizations to fight against Israel, and many of them will find their death.
Uri, how is it that no one stops the recruitment of Palestinian children?
First of all, it's important to mention that this is an efficient and well-oiled recruitment mechanism that has been built over the years. It begins, as we've mentioned before, by indoctrinating children as young as 3, and it continues with the systematic conscription, training, and placing of these children in life-threatening situations.
Wow, I'm having troubles visualizing a child soldier. It's just beyond my comprehension. It's just crazy.
I know, it's absolutely horrifying. I have experienced the use of children personally during my military service. On a mission to arrest a terrorist, I was confronted by one of his relatives shooting at me with an automatic rifle in one hand while he was holding a small, terrified, crying baby on his other hand. I aimed for his knees to avoid injuring the child, but the scene is played in my mind over and over again. We have many first-hand testimonies, and one story that I remember is of Eyal's story, who was on a patrol with his unit when they were suddenly surrounded by dozens of small children. These children began cursing and throwing stones at them. One of the stones exploded next to him. It was actually a hand grenade, and many of the children were injured. Where is the outrage and condemnation from the international community that will bring this use of child soldiers to an end?
Uri, what does the Jerusalem Institute of Justice do, and how do they contribute to stop this madness?
So the Jerusalem Institute of Justice is operating both in the international legal arena as well as in the public diplomacy arena. And this ongoing work in these two spheres allows us to address this issue at both levels.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So first, on the legal side, we have written and submitted requests for investigation to the International Criminal Court in The Hague in order to make sure that those responsible for recruiting the children to participate in hostilities against Israel will face charges. I'm proud to say that JIJ's efforts succeeded to convince the ICC to accept the legal and evidentiary infrastructure we presented to it, calling for the investigation into Hamas's war crimes.
That is significant. You also mentioned that you do public advocacy work. Can you elaborate on that level?
Of course. So for me, advocacy work is indeed equally important. And when raising awareness, it is absolutely necessary to use simple and clear communication. We choose to work with three main messages. 1. Using children as soldiers is the most cynical use of the most vulnerable in society. 2. Indoctrination is the epitome of evil and perpetuates the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And 3. A merciless Palestinian mechanism led by prominent Hamas leaders is eager to recruit, train, and exploit children as young as 8 for all sorts of militia purposes.
Wow, Uwe, on the one hand, I am completely shocked, and I feel like that I need time to process this horrifying information. Whereas on the other hand, I understand the importance of acknowledging our reality and to know what's happening in our world. This is our responsibility to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you.